Hi, and welcome to Grandpa's Cabinets. Today I'm going to do a little demonstration on mounting a ship model to a base. I know a lot of people have a lot of different ways they like to do it. Mine is just another one of many, but I'm going to show you what I've done to make this work on a model that I'm actually working on currently. The model I'm working on is actually a Dreadnought 1/350 scale. And this model I would like to mount this time on pedestals rather than setting it on blocks of wood or just laying it right flat on the base itself. So I'm going to show you what I've done. The actual model and the actual base came with no holes, of course. So what I did is I decided to drill 2 holes into the bottom of the hull on the center line, so that they end up being just about centered this way and centered this way. The holes I chose to make are slightly larger than 1/4 inch because the screws that I'm using are actually flathead 1/4 inch, 1/4 screws, and these are 2 inches long, which allows for a 3/4 inch thick piece of wood for my base, a 1 inch riser, and then a 1/4 inch or so, a little more maybe, to go up through the model itself to hold it securely. My risers I chose for this particular model are just basic silver or steel risers, 1 inch high, and I chose them basically because a Dreadnought is pretty much just gray iron, and I thought this would go nicely with it as opposed to a shiny brass that might kind of like overkill. So once I've drilled the holes in my model itself, I went ahead and drew a center line on my base. Determining the center this way, I drew a pencil line through the middle so that I know where to center my holes. I set the model itself down and I could see the center line through the holes. Once I had it positioned left and right exactly where I wanted it, I took a pencil and traced out the 2 holes. Once I did that, I went ahead and drilled a 5/16 hole in each of the 2 spots, which is a full 1/16 larger than the 1/4 inch screw that I'm using. But that allows for a little bit of play in case things just don't line up perfectly the first time. On the back side, I used a chamfer bit, and I went ahead and chamfered the 2 sides so that when the screw goes in, it ends up being recessed, as you can see, so that it doesn't stick up like so if it was just level with the top. So that allows for the screw to be a little bit recessed, as you see. Once I've got the holes for my base and I'm satisfied that everything lines up with a little bit of play in there just the way I need it, the next step I did was, as you can see on the inside, I cut myself 4 pieces of sprue or any kind of scrap plastic, whatever. And I took the nuts, as you can see, they're already mounted in there, but I placed the nut where it goes. I took a screw from the back side and I screwed the screw into the nut. Once I had that and I could hold the nut in place, then I went ahead, applied a little bit of glue, and I glued the 4 pieces of sprue around the nut. And I'm using a square nut so that it's got more stability and it won't twist. Once I glued those on there and they dried completely, I did both of them, as you can see, one there and one there. Once they dried, I went ahead and unscrewed my screws. The nuts lifted off at that point. I put a little bit of super glue underneath where the nuts were going to go, set them back down, and then I actually used a little bit of zip kicker and got them to fasten down permanently in that position, ready to go. Once you've done that, you can then take and go ahead, paint your hull. I would coat your hull with a protectant after that, whether it be a dull or a medium or a gloss, whatever you're choosing. And that way it allows you, maybe with some rubber gloves, to be able to handle this the way you're going to have to in order to get this mounted to your wood. The next step then, after you've done that and you're happy with the way it came out, is I would take my mounting screw. I would do one at a time. I wouldn't try to do them both at the same time because it's really hard to manipulate 2 screws to get them to line up. But if you do one, it makes it a little bit easier. Set your riser in position, bring your boat up, and while you're from the bottom able to screw the screw itself, I get it started like so into that nut that hopefully is permanently stuck where it's supposed to be. Once you've got it started, I would take the second screw without tightening that down, bring the second screw up with your riser, bring your boat around. It should literally just about fall in just like you see, and then start that screw as well, like so. Once you've got them both started, your model will pretty much sit there as you see what I'm doing right now. That gives you a chance to kind of stand it up at an angle, tighten your screws with a screwdriver to get your model to permanently stay in that position. I wouldn't screw it down so hard that you cause the plastic to deflect or to change its shape, because there's a chance you're going to split open a seam or you're going to crack the plastic. But I would just do it securely enough so that you know you're happy that it's pretty solid on there and it's going to stay that way. Once you've done that, since your hull is already painted and it's ready for your upper structures to be put on, you can actually leave it on the base and work with doing your superstructure, your upper structures, and continue building your model from there. I hope this gives you some perspective on a method that I choose to use if I'm going to be mounting a base. And I look forward to working with you in the future. Remember, I'm Ron from Grandpa's Cabinets, and I build custom display cases for any kind of model, whether it be ship, airplane, car. I've done cases for statues. I've done cases for a bra for a lady that suffered dealing with cancer. I did cases for a glove, actually, that a lady's daughter wore when she was defending their school title in a volleyball tournament. So I've done it for anything and everything, and I look forward to working for you in the future, and I hope to. And you can also go to my website, www.grandpascabinets.com, and on my website you will see a gallery with photos, hundreds of photos from different models that people have built and cases that I've built to go with them. If you go to the blog page, you'll see a lot of interesting things I've written about what I build, how I build it, and comments from other people. And you'll also be directed to my video page on YouTube, where you can view some of the videos like this one. And while you're there, I strongly urge you to click on the subscribe button to get me more people so that I get a more prevalent name on YouTube. I thank you so much for viewing this. I look forward to working with you, and I hope this information helped a little bit. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.